Hello, dear.
Mind if we talk for a bit, Grandma?
Not at all, dear. What's on your mind?
Hey, Grandma, do you recognize this tape recorder?
Oh, yes, Mr. Dicto. Joseph used to carry that thing with him everywhere. He could be absent-minded at times. It helped him remember things.
Would you mind if I took a look in the attic?
I suppose it would do no harm. Come with me.
Thanks, Grandma.
You're welcome, dear. Be careful now.
The bulb looks burned out. I'll have to replace it. Nothing. The bulb must be burned out. The only thing my deadbeat dad left me. Nah, it's drafty in here and almost out of fuel. Gonna need it for my smokes. Not a horrible idea, but I can't reach it. Besides, that light bulb looks like it wouldn't fit. Free light bulb. Score! The bulb looks burned out. Standard light bulb. Looks intact and good to go. Either this was a case of sudden kleptomania, or I actually have a good use for this thing. There we go. Various books and office supplies. Nothing in particular catches the eye. Mr. Bear! How did you get all the way up there? Good idea. You just keep watch. I'll do the searching. A thick book about math. An old typewriter covered in cobwebs. It looks like someone was doing geometry. I can't make much sense of it. Just some old bills. Nothing interesting. Might be something useful in there. Nothing. Empty. A worn office chair on wheels. I'm feeling a sudden urge to do a race. A leather briefcase sealed by a combination lock.
Note to self. Remember, the perfect bouquet consists of 3 red roses, a blue violet, and 2 yellow tulips. I've been working on my research in the attic at night. Note to self. Remember, the perfect bouquet consists of 3 red roses, a blue violet, and 2 yellow tulips.
Yes! A thick yellow envelope. It's the envelope I found in the briefcase. Let's see what's in here. There were 2 pictures, a newspaper clipping, a key, and a tape inside. Looks overexposed. I can't make much out. I think I see trees in the background, but most of the picture is just bright white. There's probably some way to enhance this back at school. I'll figure it out tomorrow when I'm back. Grandpa in uniform with 2 other men. Something is handwritten on the back. Flight training, McConnell Air Force Base, 1941. Tragic drowning in Conwell Springs. In early morning on Sunday the 14th, a teenage girl found dead near Conwell Lake. The girl is survived by her mother, father, and younger brother. The funeral service will be held at Conwell Cemetery on the 21st of July. The notice is dated July 15th, 1975. Tragic story. I wonder why Grandpa saved this. It's a small key, fairly modern design. No identifying tag, unfortunately. I wonder what this unlocks.
Oh, hello, dear.
Mind if we talk for a bit, Grandma?
Not at all, dear. What's on your mind?
Can you tell me anything about McConnell Air Force Base?
It's not very far from Conwell Springs. Joseph was stationed there for some time during the war. I believe they're still training young pilots there today.
So, when did Grandpa enlist in the Air Force?
Oh, it was barely past the honeymoon when Joseph left to fight in that terrible war, together with his best friend Charles and my brother Andrew. Those were nerve-wracking years. I was so worried I thought I would burst. Every short visit from Joseph was a joy, but he kept going back to the front, to my great dismay. When I told Joseph about being pregnant with your father, he finally realized that enough was enough. He had done his duty. Shortly thereafter, he returned to a quiet farmer's life in this very house, helping your great-grandfather with the crops, until he passed.
Do you know anything about a young girl drowning around here?
Oh, yes. It was the saddest thing. She was only 16. We never really knew the family. They preferred to keep to themselves.
Do you remember the name of the girl or her family?
I'm awfully sorry, dear. I just can't recall.
That's okay, Grandma. I was just wondering why Grandpa would have wanted to save this.
Joseph was always affected by the tragedy of others. Perhaps he wanted to do something for the family. In any case, he didn't speak to me about it.
Do you recognize this key, Grandma? I found it in the attic.
I'm afraid not, dear.
Look at this photo I found in the locked briefcase.
Goodness, I haven't seen that picture in years. This was taken when Joseph was stationed at McConnell Air Force Base. That's him right there on the left.
What about the other two?
I don't remember the name of the smiling man in the back. The gentleman on the right was Joseph's best friend, Charles Wade.
What can you tell me about Charles Wade?
Well, I do know he has made quite a name for himself since he and Joseph went to war together. Apparently, he came up with some brilliant piece of engineering for the airplanes. They use it everywhere now.
Any idea how to get in touch with him?
I'm afraid not, dear. I haven't seen him for years. He and Joseph grew apart before you were born.
Any particular reason for that?
Oh, not that I know of.
Grams, can you tell me anything about this picture?
It looks awfully bright. Perhaps something was wrong with the camera.
Yeah, maybe. I should try to figure something out tomorrow at the university. I found this book in the attic. Recognize it?
Oh, yes. I bought it for Joseph's birthday once. He was always fascinated by numbers. He believed that math could explain everything in this world.
He was a man of science. There's no denying that. See you later, Grams.
Take care, dear.
Damn, no Charles Wade in here. Was worth a shot, but being rich and famous and all, I guess he's got a hidden number. No hit for Wade Industries either, but it was kind of a long shot for them to have an office in this small county anyway. I should try to get a hold of him some other way. All right, got it. Nope, couldn't find it. Nah, nothing like that in here.
McConnell Air Force Base, how can I help you?
Hi, I was just wondering if you had time to answer a few questions.
Sure thing, ma'am. Ask away.
Do you know anything about what happened to Joseph Rain in '81?
I know that he was no longer stationed here at the base at that time. He'd left the Air Force decades earlier. But as a Conwell Springs citizen, sure, I've heard the rumors just like everybody else. How he was found by the sheriff all messed up, walking out of the woods with some kind of unexplained brain damage.
Any theory as to what he was doing out there?
I'm afraid not, ma'am. But I'm positive that it had nothing to do with this base or our operations here.
Okay, what can you tell me about his service at McConnell?
Well, Joseph Rain is a legend around here. His pile of medals weighs more than my car. I was fortunate enough to meet him before he suffered his injury, and I must say, what an inspiring man. I'm positive that he would have made general if he'd stuck around.
Any idea of why he quit? He looks so happy in the pictures from the war.
Oh, your family, ma'am?
Granddaughter.
Well, then I'm sorry for your loss. I heard about his recent passing.
Appreciate it, buddy. So, about him quitting.
I shouldn't speak ill of the dead, but some say the war broke him. PTSD. Me? I don't think so. When I met him, he had this aura about him, like he wasn't afraid of anything. Maybe it was just guilt. He ended a lot of lives, but that's just me speculating.
Gotcha. Thanks for the thoughts. What can you tell me about McConnell Air Force Base?
This is one of the oldest Air Force bases in the U.S., established during World War I. The main purpose of it is to train fighter pilots. The McConnell Flight School is well-renowned all around the country. In the late 80s, the school started accepting a limited number of civilian applicants due to the high demand. Some of the most famous dogfighters in U.S. history, such as Ethan Fireball Jenkins, Joseph Vigilante Rain, and Brett Xavier Myers, trained at this very base. Charles Wade, the great industrialist, did too. Some claim that many of his revolutionary ideas came from the former chief mechanic here, the late Niles Bloom.
Interesting. Thanks for the history lesson. I don't see a reason to ask him about that. I'm trying to get a hold of Charles Wade. Would you happen to know how to reach him?
I'm sorry, ma'am, but Charles Wade is a public figure. He has explicitly asked us not to provide his contact details to anyone.
Is there any way you could make an exception? I really need to talk to Mr. Wade.
No can do. I can't really help you out unless you have some sort of official business.
But what if it was a matter of life and death?
Ma'am, if you're in a life-threatening situation, I suggest you call 911.
I'm trying to get a hold...
I'm sorry, ma'am, but Charles Wade is a public figure. He has explicitly...
Is there any way...
No can do.
I do have official business. I'm Deputy Reagan. I'm calling from Conwell Springs Sheriff's Department.
Nice try. Do you know what caller ID is? You can clearly see that you're not calling from the station. Goodbye.
Damn, I can't pull that off if I call from here.